Welcome to Motivational Humanity. You are not alone.
Trust doesn't shatter in one loud moment. It breaks quietly, in a text that never comes, in a promise that sounded real, but wasn't. And after that, we don't just lose trust in people. We lose it in ourselves. We say, I should have known. I won't make that mistake again. So we build walls and call them wisdom. But here's the truth no one says out loud. If you want to trust again, it won't happen all at once. It happens in tiny, brave choices. And they begin inside you. A woman once told me she didn't fear love. She feared hope. She had been strong for so long that strength became armor. She paid her bills, showed up for work, smiled in meetings. But something inside her stayed clenched. Because the last time she trusted someone, it cost her sleep, confidence, and peace. She said, I don't cry anymore. And that scares me. Her story wasn't dramatic. No yelling. No public betrayal. Just a slow disappearance. Someone checked out emotionally and left her holding all the feelings alone. And what stuck with her wasn't the loss of that relationship. It was the thought, how did I miss the signs? That's the wound that lingers, not heartbreak, self-doubt. So she decided she'd be smarter next time, which really meant colder, more distant, less available. She called it independence. But what she was really practicing was self-abandonment. One day she laughed and said, I trust my coffee maker more than people. And we both laughed. Then we paused. Because humor has a way of telling the truth gently. She didn't need a new person. She needed a new relationship with trust itself. Here's what happens in real life. When trust breaks, your nervous system remembers. Before logic steps in, your body decides, never again. So now every connection feels like a risk assessment. You replay conversations, analyze tone, read between lines that don't exist. Not because you're dramatic, because you were hurt. We're taught that trusting again means being naïve. That forgiveness equals weakness. That boundaries are walls. So instead of healing, we harden. We say things like, I'm just protecting my energy, while quietly starving for connection. We crave closeness but flinch when it arrives. And the cruelest part, we blame ourselves for being too much or too open, when openness was never the problem. Someone else's inability to meet it was. Trust doesn't disappear because we're foolish. It disappears because we were brave enough to care. But we don't rebuild trust by forcing ourselves to leap again. We rebuild it by learning how to stand steady, inch by inch. Trust doesn't come back because someone proves themselves perfectly. It comes back when you stop demanding certainty from a world that can never provide it and start building steadiness inside yourself. Real trust is not about predicting outcomes. It's about believing you can face whatever unfolds without abandoning who you are. That's the first quiet shift most people miss. When trust breaks, the instinct is to scan others harder. Watch more closely. Protect yourself better. But healing actually begins when you turn that attention inward and start honoring the signals you once ignored. That tight feeling in your chest. The hesitation you talked yourself out of. The moment your body knew before your mind caught up. Those moments weren't weakness. They were information. Learning to trust again means slowing down enough to hear them and choosing not to override them just to keep peace or avoid loneliness. There's also a deeply uncomfortable truth. Here, trust isn't rebuilt through intensity, grand gestures, or fast connection. That rush can feel like safety, but it's often anxiety in disguise. Real trust tends to feel quieter, slower, less dramatic. It grows through consistency, not chemistry. through actions that line up over time, not passionate promises made in emotional moments. When someone shows up the same way on ordinary days, your nervous system starts to soften. That softness is trust returning, not the spark we were taught to chase. Another layer that matters is understanding that boundaries are not walls, they are bridges. They tell people how to stay connected to you without hurting you. When you stop explaining your needs as if they're a flaw, something changes. You begin to realize that anyone who reacts badly to your boundaries was never responding to your vulnerability in the first place. Trust doesn't require you to be endlessly accommodating. It requires you to be honest even when honesty feels risky. And here's the part many people don't want to hear, but need the most. Learning to trust again also means accepting that disappointment is still possible. Not because you're doing it wrong, but because you're alive. The goal is no longer to avoid pain at all costs. The goal is to stop letting fear decide your level of openness. Each time you stay present after a small letdown, instead of shutting down completely, you prove to yourself that you can survive emotional discomfort without becoming hard. Trust grows when you no longer confuse self-protection with self-respect. When you stop confusing distance with strength. When you realize that being selective doesn't mean being closed. It means you're choosing connection that feels steady, respectful, and mutual. And in that steadiness, something profound happens. You stop asking, "Will this break me?" and start knowing, even if it hurts, I won't disappear from my own life. That's when trust quietly finds its way back. Not as blind faith, not as not of a hope, but as grounded courage. Start small, smaller than you think. Share one honest feeling instead of the polished version. Notice how it feels in your body, not how it's received. Your response matters more. Pause before oversharing. Ask yourself, has this person earned this story? Not everyone deserves your history. That's not secrecy. That's discernment. Keep a promise to yourself daily. Drink the water. Take the walk. Leave when your body feels tight instead of explaining away discomfort. Self-trust is the foundation of all other trust. When something feels off, name it gently. Not with blame, with curiosity. The right people lean in when you do that. And practice recovery. When something small disappoints you, resist the urge to shut down completely. Stay present. Breathe. Repair instead of retreating. You're not learning how to trust others. You're practicing how to stay connected to yourself when things feel uncertain. Let me say this clearly. You don't heal by becoming untouchable. You heal by becoming resilient. The bravest thing you'll ever do isn't trusting again blindly. It's trusting wisely while staying open. You don't need to give everyone access to your heart. You need to stop locking yourself out. You were never weak for loving deeply. You were strong enough to show up without guarantees. And yes, you may get hurt again. That's not failure. That's being human. The goal isn't a life without pain. It's a life where pain doesn't decide who you become. You are allowed to be cautious and courageous at the same time. One day you'll notice something quiet. Your shoulders will drop. Your laughter will come easier. You'll say how you feel without rehearsing first. Not because the world got safer, but because you did. Trust won't return in fireworks. It'll return in moments, in pauses, in peace. And suddenly, you won't be afraid of hoping again. Because you'll know, no matter what happens, you've got you. And that is where trust truly begins.